This slide presentation is designed to review what should be in your presentation to the class. This presentation is a slide presentation just like you would do if we were meeting face-to-face. The presentation will be an overview of your paper. Your presentation is only 10 to 12 minutes long, so as we review what goes in your presentation, think about the kind of things you might include in your slides. The first thing is to consider the format of the presentation. Your presentation must either be compatible with Microsoft and it must have audio and visual. So one way to do that with a product compatible with Microsoft is to use PowerPoint. You could create a PowerPoint slideshow, and then within the slides you can add audio. So you would be creating a PowerPoint slideshow, which is visual, and you will add the audio, which is your voice. If you don't want to use that, then you have to create something that is in an MP4 format. MP4 means that you are recording a voice or audio with visual or slides. There's another presentation that shows you how to use a free software called Screencast-O-Matic. You may use that, or you may use another software as long as it's an MP4. So you're going to have a presentation that is either in a product like PowerPoint with audio added, or you're going to create a recording that is an MP4 format with your voice and your slides. So when you're creating your presentation, an idea that you might use is to follow the outline for your paper. Listed on this slide are the parts of your paper and the sections that you're supposed to be writing about in your paper about your disease. So one idea for your slide presentation is to divide your presentation into these different topics. You are required to cover all of this information, so by having a slide or two on each one of these, it will help you work through your presentation. So what I'm going to do now is go through a possible presentation and what it might look like if you wanted to use this format. The first slide would have your name of your disease or condition and your name. If you notice, most of my slides for this class have a light background and dark letters. That's because that is the easiest thing to read. So if you wanted to use this format, your first slide would include your disease or condition and include your name. The next slide, following the information on of your paper, would be history. In the history of your disease or condition, you might list dates or key elements related to the history of your disease. Maybe when it was discovered, isolated, or named. You're only going to put key terms on a slide because I do not want you to read to us from your slide. I want you to talk to us about what is on your slide. So another example of how to do this is to create a timeline like I have at the bottom of this slide. So if you wanted to talk about key points, you could put the years and maybe one or two words about what happened at each point of each of those times. Again, you may use words, you may use a timeline, whatever it is, you just want to make sure that what's on your slide helps you remember what to say. Because you're probably not recording your face, you'll actually have no cards that you can look at and no one will know that. So the next slide that might be in your presentation is on pathophysiology because that's the next part of your paper. Again, you should have keywords or a diagram on how the disease affects the body. Do not put so many words on your slide that you're reading to us. I want you to talk to us about what's on the slide. The next part of your paper is epidemiology. So one way to show epidemiology might be with a chart, like what's here. In epidemiology, you should be talking about morbidity, mortality, prevalence, and incidence. In this area is often where disparities show up. For example, do more men or women get this disease? Is there a specific race or ethnic group that gets the disease more often? Does one group of people get it more often and another group of people die more often? So this is what you would discuss on this page. So notice if you have a chart, you might just use the chart as a reminder of what to say. Again, you could put words on your slide. It does not matter as long as you do not read to us. The next part of your paper is called Diagnosis, Prognosis, Effects, and Treatments. So this could be a couple slides. Maybe you have photos or charts or words. For diagnosis, you might show us what the testing equipment looks like. For effects, you might have photographs or diagrams of different body systems. For treatments, you might have different photographs. It's up to you, but the slides are there to help us understand what you are saying. So whatever it is you choose to put on the slides for this section, make sure it helps make your point about what you're telling us. The next part of your paper, and possibly of your slide presentation, is the effects of the disease or condition on the person and his or her significant others. And you should be talking about physical, emotional, and social effects. So again, we're looking at words, charts, photos, diagrams. It's up to you what you put here, but you should be talking about the effects of the disease or condition on the person and his or her significant others. And finally, the last part of your paper and the last part of your presentation might be your role. So what is your role in healthcare or human services with the disease, the person, and the significant others? So no matter what your major, whether it's healthcare management or it's health education or nursing, what you need to do in this section of your paper and possibly in this slide is talk about what your role would be in dealing with the disease and working with the person and with working with the significant others. And you might want to have one final slide that is a summary slide, just to bring a summary, bring us back to what the naming condition of that you're working on, what you're reporting, and possibly your name. So this presentation really was designed to walk you through what is expected in your slides. Remember, you should have no more than 10 to 12 minutes of a presentation. Your slides should either be in PowerPoint or something compatible with Microsoft Office. It must have visual and audio, or you could create an MP4 presentation which will record audio and video in your presentation. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. I look forward to your questions and your presentations.